Hi, how you guys doing? My name is Gene De La Torre, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about baseball. It's not really just baseball or the history of baseball, there's a little twist to it. But something I do want to share is the first quote that comes to mind when I think of baseball. It is, baseball is the only field of endeavor where a man can succeed 3 times out of 10 and still be considered a good performer, and that was said by the great Ted Williams. The reason I said there was a little twist to it is because it's not really just about baseball. It's more about my favorite player that plays baseball. My favorite player is Dustin Pedroia. Dustin Pedroia is a second baseman for the Boston Red Sox. In the early stages of his high school career, which he attended at Woodland High School in Woodland, California, he played both football and baseball as a freshman, which is pretty common at the ages of 14 through 16. When I was in high school, I saw it. I played 2 sports at that age. But his football career ended right then and there when he was a freshman because his ankle was broken by the future Pro Bowler, Lance Briggs. After that, Pedroia stuck to baseball, and it paid off. When he was a senior, he had an amazing senior year when he was hitting. There was no strikeouts. He didn't strike out, not even once. He hit .445, which, if you go by the quote that Ted Williams said, if you just hit 3 out of 10, which is 300, you're considered an amazing player. Dustin Pedroia hit .445, which is amazing. Then after high school, after his senior year, he took the safe route and went to college. At this time, around the 2000s, a lot of players would skip college and go straight to the pros because they just saw it as the money. But Pedroia took the safe route. Pedroia went to Arizona State University, where at first he played shortstop and fought Ian Kinsler for a position. Ian Kinsler is another baseball player that is in the majors, so that's pretty cool. They had like a little friend battle. But yeah, he was amazing. Like I said, in college, Pedroia hit no less than .347. So it wasn't .445 in high school, but college is another step, and he hit .347, and that's the less that he hit. He didn't hit anything less than that. His average was .384. Through the years that he was in college, it was .384. So it isn't bad at all. Remember, Ted Williams, 3 out of 10. That's a 300. That's higher than 300, which is crazy to think when you think about it. When he was in college, he won the Deck Circle Most Valuable Player, which just the words Most Valuable Player, MVP. He was the MVP of his college and his conference. Then after college, Pedroia went to the MLB. My bad. He went to MLB. Pedroia was drafted by the Red Sox in the 2nd round, pick number 65, and number 65 overall, not 65 in the 2nd round. He signed his contract, and he had a signing bonus of $575,000, which is crazy to think about. In 2000, there's $575,000 from then are now almost $1 million. So his signing bonus was almost $1 million if you think about it in today's numbers with inflation. Pedroia hit .308 through 3 seasons in the minors. The minors is before you go to the big stage, how people call it, the major leagues, where everything is televised. He got briefly called up in 2006, but he didn't become the regular starting second baseman until 2007, when he, like I said, became the regular second baseman. So overall, Dustin Pedroia is an amazing baseball player when you go strictly through numbers. He did so much for his team. He always put his team first. Pedroia was a hard worker day in and day out. Didn't stop grinding. And he went to a good baseball college. Arizona State, I believe it's still, at that time it was D1. I believe it is still a D1 baseball school. And he was also the MVP when he was in high school. I like to say one of his favorite quotes that he used most often, and he repeated, and every time there was a book that he wrote or a book about him, this quote was always there. And it's a player's decision to shut it down or play. Players play.